This is a WKYT podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Victor and Andrea.
I thought you were pulling something up on your phone for the podcast, but no.
Oh, because I was talking about John Cena's theme?
And then I thought I was looking it up, and then nope, he just starts talking.
No, I was writing down time codes because it makes it easier for me to edit.
Oh,
I'm starting,
always working.
Yeah, somebody has to put this thing together.
Well, it's you.
She was like, yeah, I show up, I do my part, and that's it.
That's horrible. I'm such a brat.
Oh, it's fine. You got a lot of irons in the fire, Andrea.
I guess.
How's it going?
It's good. I've been kind of under the weather the last few days. So Victor and I'm not blaming anyone from this, but I think I just couldn't handle it. But we've judged a chili cook-off on Super Bowl Sunday, and my stomach has not been the same since. So I went home sick on Monday. Yesterday, I had a story in Woodford County, slept all the way there, slept all the way back. Just was hardly functioning. I didn't get off the couch yesterday once I got home. So I'm still not feeling great, but I'm recovering now.
Also, a quick note to our listeners, if your audio dropped there, it's because I was trying to turn down my headphones and accidentally turned down the actual audio coming in.
But I felt better yesterday because Victor said his daughter Vera was a little bit ill
She
afterwards.
had an ear infection, and
your father-in-law.
Yeah, we just thought she had a runny nose, but it turned out she had another ear infection, so she's back on antibiotics. Although they seem to amp her up because last night she was bouncing off the walls. Yes.
I love it.
So I think she's doing all right. She seemed a lot better this morning, was ready to go to daycare after staying home yesterday. Yeah.
But a lot of illness going around right now. I mean, we've got schools canceling everywhere, so I guess that's normal.
Yes. Yeah, that's and I've seen people who are teachers putting posts like, please can we cancel school, or please parents keep your sick kids home, just because it's rough on everybody.
Yeah, it just keeps spreading because you push yourself and then it's just a vicious cycle.
I had 3 separate colds.
I know. I've been sick for months. But it's always like that sickness that you can't stay home.
Yeah,
you know, because
exactly.
like if you stay home forever, like you're going to run out of days, and I don't know.
Such is life.
Oh, poor us. The struggle.
Well, today's podcast was a long time coming.
Yes.
I'm glad we finally got it done. We talked to Krista Frost.
And she just cracks me up. I honestly wish we were recording all the conversations when she would get calls for work, because she's just...
She keeps it real. Yeah, people call and they're like, sorry, I can't do an interview. And she's like, oh, fine.
I know. And they're like, I'm so sorry. I heard the guy on the other end, like, I'm so sorry. I'm like... Well, it is hard when you have like 3 people turn you down in a row and you're just like, can somebody talk to me? Well, the struggle is real for her too.
So Krista is our weekend morning anchor. Her and Olivia do it together, and it's kind of nice to hear how she got started. And she knew she wanted to do this from an early age.
Yeah. I can relate to Krista in a lot of ways. I connect with her. She's good. She scares me.
So Andrea is intimidated by a lot of people we work with.
Well, I am, yeah.
And here you go. Here is our conversation with Krista Frost.
Is that your inspo?
Is that just life goals?
That's freaking awesome.
I know, it's weird though whenever somebody sees my phone. And
I thought it was you at first, and I was like, oh my
God, I wish. One day though, by summer, let's look.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we're here with Krista Frost talking about her inspirations.
Let's really talk about it. Okay. So I looked down at Krista's phone, and there's a half-naked woman on it.
Okay, I
didn't
keep
want
it real everyone to know.
I'm kidding. She's in a sports bra, clearly working out, very tasteful. So talk about your phone.
I'm looking at it right now.
Screensaver.
Okay, yeah, it's J-Lo. So before this is like before Super Bowl, before the halftime show, I changed that.
An original stand.
Yes. And I work out, and I've been trying to like lose weight the past year and stuff, and I'm really like into that. And so I'm like, okay, well, I have a goal that I want to like look like, or like, aspire to, or like have abs or something. That'd be cool. And so it's nice to have like that on your phone. So it's just like, yeah, girl, get your butt to the gym. And so J-Lo, as we all saw during the Super Bowl, whether you liked it or not, you gotta admit, she works out.
She's 50.
See, there you go. Different people work in different ways. I had a friend who, she had a picture, at one point she had taken a very unflattering picture. She was a little heavier at that point, and so she put it like right in her kitchen, right above where she would make her snacks and stuff.
Oh.
So that anytime she was tempted to go, get something late at night, she'd just look at that picture and be like, no, I'm good.
Not worth it.
That's true, but I'm not trying to
No, I don't need that in my life.
Oh,
I'm saying
gosh,
so
I'm
there are different ways of motivation. So you obviously you've set that goal there as opposed to somebody else who chose to shame themselves.
Well, Victor and I can totally relate because we're like we've talked about this before,
our
being
weight
up and down in
fluctuates,
our
yeah.
weight. So I feel you. Like I've been every size.
Yeah.
So I understand.
it's hard.
But you look good. I think
Hey,
you've always
thanks.
looked good, though. Honestly. So
All right, let's get back to the actual meat of the podcast. The reason we started this.
fine.
We're trying to figure out how everybody gets their start.
What are you doing?
Oh, I realized you were hogging the mic. I had to get in here so that I could actually hear myself.
Okay.
Krista just
Yeah.
gets to watch us just fight each
Bigger.
other.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's pretty normal. We kind of talked to people about how they got started in the news. At this point, you've been here a little while, and we've really only had you on sporadically as a guest popping in for Thanksgiving and
Yes.
A competitor.
draft.
Which I still am disappointed in.
I know
Just
you took
saying.
it so seriously, and Kelsey didn't care at all.
Exactly. And then that girl wins, and all she does is eat chicken fingers and pizza every single day, and it angers me because I actually
We struck a nerve.
eat food, real food.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go back and listen to our holiday meal draft.
Yes, it was a good episode. Good episode.
Yes, but the person who won eats like a child, so it's fine.
They're roommates, by the way, so
Yes.
she does know firsthand.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, so back
Okay.
to news because we have wanted to have you on here for a long time. I think that. Oh, let's pause.
Well, we're back. Krista just had to take a quick phone call, story related, the struggles of the working reporter.
Ain't that the truth?
People just love being interviewed on camera, don't they?
It's it's like pulling teeth. I know how a dentist feels.
The other day, I was they're like, go to the airport, talk to travelers. It's like, people are already stressful enough.
Oh yes.
Trying to get on the
Let's put
airport,
a
last
camera
thing
in
they
their
want
face.
is a camera popping up.
Yeah.
People used to get dressed up to get on a plane, but they don't anymore. Now we're like leggings,
I'm walking up to somebody,
sweatshirt. Don't
in
talk.
sweats with like a pillow around their neck. They just looking at me like, no, man, I don't. It's like,
Nah,
okay.
nah.
I felt
Okay.
lucky to get two people.
Let's go back to the beginning. We are going to get this done.
Yeah,
We
it might
finally
take a
got her
few
in the
tries.
room. Now we're going to do this.
Don't bang it on the table. It's making weird
Krista,
noises.
how did you get into the news industry? Is this what you always wanted to do, or?
So yeah, I think I was like 12 or entering middle school, and I was actually always really, really good at math, and hated English. I actually had I don't know. I went to a lot of tutors and went to special classes and stuff, like the kids with the IEPs and stuff, because I couldn't read through all of elementary school. I don't no bad to my parents, love them, but I have a sister who's 7 years older, and I feel like by the time I came along and was supposed to be learning to read and stuff, they're like, she's got it.
She'll figure it out.
Yeah, she's fine. She's social. She's
Right.
whatever, up to speed. And it's just you never really sat down with me to teach me to read. So I struggled so hard with just basic things throughout all of elementary school. And then I don't know, something when I was in middle school just kind of changed. And one of my language arts teachers just had us in front of the class doing a lot of presentations all the time, and I was really good at it. And so she put me on this morning announcement show that we had in my middle school, and I just did a few tries of it, and I was like, oh yeah, game over. This is it. I'm going to be a journalist. I wanted to be an actress, but then I was like, take it down a notch. That's so unrealistic. You're never going to make it. So this will be fine.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And I just kind of continued doing stuff like that. A lot of public speaking throughout middle school, high school. Yeah. But that was always the goal.
I guess were you? Did you go to college near where you grew up, or was it?
Yeah, it's 2 hours away.
You're from Ohio? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm from
right?
Dayton, Ohio, and I went to Ohio University in Athens. I feel like the most notable thing about that right now is Joe Burrow from LSU.
I got
that
yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
He's from Athens.
Okay.
So, and that's where I went to school. I remember actually when he was playing there and in the high school, and he was a big deal then, and of course he's an even bigger deal now.
I was gonna say he seems to have done all right.
Right. But yeah, so I went there for journalism, which is it's known for having some very notable alumni who have since fallen from grace for a few different.
Like who?
Matt Lauer.
Oh, all right.
Roger.
Roger Ailes?
Yeah.
Donated to our school and stuff, and we have this huge building dedicated to him. And,
Oh.
yeah, they've since removed his name.
I was wondering
But,
if the name was still up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when all that happened when I was in college. But yeah, so I mean, some notable people, even.
Right.
So it was really popular before that all happened.
Yeah.
And so I went there and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna,
Well, I mean, they were successful in the industry for a
Yeah.
long time, so
just some side stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't too
Those were
awesome.
more personal issues, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's the
But
collapse of the industry as we know it. All right, no big deal.
But
It's
that
fine.
is so interesting. You know, you hear about it. Kind of reminds me of the movie like Drumline, of like, you know, certain people that like are masters of their craft, but then like can't read music. It's like you struggled writing, but then you're a great performer and so natural on the air. That's just interesting that like you have both of those inside of you.
Yeah, and I never liked reading or write. I don't know what changed, or I guess it's just maybe that I once I put.
It's different once you're performing it.
Yeah, it was just like it felt natural and it was like cool and it's just like talking, and I've always been a talker.
Yeah. And I love that you're a female who says she's good at math, because that's so rare.
Oh,
You know
I'm
what I
bad
mean?
now. To be clear, something changed. Yeah, like I was really
flipped.
good to a point, and then like once I started being really good at the whole like English side of things,
The math went
was
downhill.
like bye. So
It's like Daredevil. Once he lost his eyesight, suddenly his hearing got really
Right.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
So that ship sailed.
Was YMT your first job?
Yes. And
She's
actually,
another from YMT to here.
Yeah, and I went to school with Angela Reigard, who used
Yep.
to work here, and so I knew her, and she kind of hooked me up with the job there, and then I came here.
What was that like? That transition from university to YMT? Because we've talked to you know, if you've never been in the mountains before, it's quite the switch.
How,
She's looking into the air, looking for an appropriate
how
answer.
do I say this? It's quite different. So like Dayton is like a lot like Lexington. Not as nice, but very flat. Malls, normal is
Lots
what
of
I'm
stuff
gonna
to
call
do.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then you go to Athens, which is totally different. It's like the top of Appalachia, whatever you know.
I always mess it up too.
I know, same. But yeah, so like that was kind of like, I mean, at least I like kind of transitioned slowly to what is Hazard. But still, there's no way of preparing you for that, because like still when you're in university, you're around a lot of people and diversity and things going on, and then you move to Hazard and there's just
There's an
nothing,
Applebee's.
you know?
Right,
Yeah. That was pretty much it. And so that was really hard, and I won't be shy about the fact that I spent my first 6 months like crying, trying to figure out if this is what I wanted to do, because I'm 4 hours from home. Like I had 3 days off, which is nice, but also like terrible when you're in Hazard and there's not much to do.
I was gonna say, if you don't have any family or friends or contact there, and there's
You're
you know,
just sitting there watching like movies over and over. But
Yeah.
I mean, I did, all the Lord of the Rings, all the Harry Potters, all the X-Men is when I first saw in Hazard. So, just busted all that out, which is great. But like,
it is also small enough that like once you're on air there, everybody knows you. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Oh yeah.
that's true. But I feel like it took me a while to get on air there for whatever reason. It was like
You did a little bit of
year.
everything, right? You produced, you did all kinds
Yeah, I
of stuff.
started off as a producer, reporter, but then I was only reporting like 2 days a week. So I mainly was just producing. And then eventually, stuff just kind of, they needed people to fill in here and there. And by the time I left it, I was doing everything.
The one nice thing about Hazard, I think, is that you become very close with your coworkers, because you're kind of all in the same boat. You're all bored. You know what I mean?
A lot of
And
you are not from there. I mean,
Right.
you're all
It's
kind of,
true.
these are the people you know.
and you're all kind of roughly this same age. A good
Yes.
group of the reporters are just kind of in the same place in life, and it's always nice to have someone that can just relate.
Which is a good thing, but also I think can burn you.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are probably people here that think I'm like closed off, that I work with, or like don't know me well. And it's not that I try to stay away from people necessarily, but I do like to have a boundary. We're at work comes first, and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily trying to go out and have parties with my coworkers, because I found out at WYMT that will burn you. Like you don't want to get too close
You're right.
to people.
You're absolutely right. That's a very mature takeaway.
So it's just like, I'm gonna, go to the
You,
gym.
you
instead.
discovered that a lot earlier than I did.
Same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a very mature take on that, and that is one of those interesting things that I think if you, especially going straight from college to this business, a lot of people same age. I mean, that's kind of your peer group is just the people you work with, because especially if you're not from the area, it
What
gets
else
kind
do
of
you
insular.
know?
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
So then you make the jump from there to Lexington. What was that? What was that switch like?
I always tell people, I love this. I don't know if it makes sense, but I love this. Like people down in Hazard, like that I was still friends with, like they had been like, what is it like? Lexington, you're there. Like,
Right,
you
you
made
made
it.
it.
Yeah. And I was just like, it's like waking up from a dream, like a really weird dream. Because I remember like I moved to a place that's not far from the Richmond Road Kroger. And I was shopping with my mom while my dad was like putting stuff together back in my apartment. And we're like in Kroger, just shopping around for food. And I remember looking around, I'm standing there with my mom, and I'm like, it feels like I'm back in Dayton in high school. Like, it's like nothing the past 2 years has even happened, really.
It felt familiar.
Yeah, and it was nice and comforting and different and weird. But I'm very thankful that I'm here and around a place that just has more going on in general. That's
You can always find something to do.
yeah, and that is important to me. Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel like Lexington is kind of the perfect size. It's big enough that you can go find things to do, but it's small enough. People are still pretty nice. You mentioned that. I mean, it's people are generally polite. And I think there's a reason that a lot of people come here intending to spend 2-3 years of their contract and end up spending 6 or 7. Next thing they know, they're you look at Lee Kay and Krista. We've mentioned them for a while. I've been here forever. I mean, it just.
Yeah, Kristen said the other day she's coming up on our 10-year anniversary here, so
I had
a
no
decade.
idea.
Isn't that wild?
I know. I never would have guessed.
It is. But I remember the first day that you were here because I believe you started on mornings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, reporting on the morning show. And Bill and I, like her first hit, I was just like, she's good. Like, she's real good. Like, you're just very natural. And I think that a lot of people get caught up in, like, reading a script word for word. And, like, you can just roll with it. And I just remember thinking, like, that's something you cannot teach. And like you said, it came to you naturally when you were young. And that's kind of how I was. Like, in school, it's like everything was theory because we didn't have a newscast at Eastern. So it's like I could never do what I was good at, so it was always really frustrating for me. But I'm like, just put me on air. I swear I can do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I totally relate to that. Yeah, I guess it's something, it is hard to teach somebody how to do that. But, it either comes naturally or it doesn't.
Right.
And, I remember being really hard on myself my first few hits. But at the same time, I think my very first hit was like Chick-fil-A on Richmond Road opening.
Yeah.
So it's like something fun, and it's like easy to just like put down your phone and just look at all these people in line to get chicken at like 6 a.m.
Right.
That's
One of my
fun.
first morning reporter hits was, the popular costumes that were going to be at Halloween Express.
Oh, my
See?
gosh.
Because I started in October, and yeah.
That's funny.
fitting for you. I feel like.
Yeah, I guess it is. But I still, I go back and I look at my first few hits, and it's just like, wow, that is painful to watch.
Yes, I was really hard on myself. Well, and then like
Me
the
too.
next day that I went live, like for the first time by myself, like, well, I had a photographer to help me out, but like there was some major crash on the highway, and highway crashes are my least favorite thing to cover. I hate them so much because everything is shut down. And so it's like, if anyone else can't
It's
get
tough.
there, why should I be able to get there?
Right.
And then once things open again, people are flying past you going 80.
Exactly.
And it's impossible to work. It's so impossible.
Well, I've never mastered the whole inbound, outbound thing.
no,
I stress
same.
so much about that.
I still don't understand. And well, mainly in Lexington with the
I know.
roads. Lexington is a circle.
I
What do
know.
you mean in an
I know, I'm like,
Man
it
of
depends
War?
which way you're going or coming from.
It's a circle. Like, what do you mean?
And then Harrisburg
agree.
Road becomes Broadway, which then becomes it
No
just,
thanks. I get so confused. Yeah,
I get very stressed about that, so I can feel your pain so much on
Last
that.
week, one of our executive producers was like, "Is it inbound or outbound on some crash on Man of War?" And I was
Don't
like,
ask
"It's
me
the
that.
side going toward this way." I don't know.
I
Like,
know, I'm the same
I
way.
hate that.
Oh, the same way.
Why are you like? You know,
I'm just glad to
you
know that
get-
some things never change. Literally, my first, because I used to be a photographer over at another place, and the day of my job interview, I was late because I got lost. So and within one of my first days on the job, I drove the wrong way down Limestone, and I turned and I realized, oops, traffic's coming this way.
Oh, I've totally done that.
This was and so at the
I've
time
had to take a sobriety test. And I was not drinking. I just can't drive.
so then I
don't
whipped
know what
into
I'm doing.
Yes.
I whipped into a parking lot, and somebody called the station, and the news director was like, "You need to call this lady and apologize." I'm like, apologize for.
Oh my
accidents with
gosh.
those."
That's like my biggest fear is like getting a call like that, like I'm driving and some driver has an issue and she's like, "You were in a marked WKYT
yeah.
car." Like anyone can see, unless like my hair is like, why don't we just like put a red dot on her head or something? Like it's wild, And so yeah, that's like super nerve wracking to me. But at the same time, yeah, it's not like I'm not trying to like drive badly or do it. It's just
Right.
like I don't know where I'm going right now. Like
I mean, that's fair.
most of the time you feel like your GPS and you're like, where is this? And you're zooming in and
So at this point, we've had a few people kind of shuffle out, and then tell us about your current role. You've been able to slide in now. You and Olivia do the weekend mornings.
Yeah. I got a little lucky. When I came in, I was Monday through Friday overnight. So I came in at 11 and left at 7.
A rough shift.
And it was rough. Once we got onto the schedule, it was fine. But I knew before they even hired me, I was just like, look, Kristen Kennedy, Hillary, and Lauren Minor.
They're all pregnant.
Somebody's leaving.
Exactly.
All I'm saying. And then once I found out that Lauren was having twins, I was like, oh yeah. That girl is driving from Cincinnati to get here. So I took that job knowing 6 months here and I'm out. I'm doing something else. They're gonna move me. And that's exactly what happened. Lauren ended up leaving. And the day that I found out that she was okay, I'm gonna take a new job, I was like, I want it. I went to Robert and I was like, that's me.
I did that same thing.
Part of it is being very proactive, because I definitely watched other people slide in and out, and I was like, I would like to do that. Why don't they consider me for that? And it's
when Rebecca Smith left,
Robert really wants you to step up and be like, hey, I want that.
Yeah, this is me. This is what you want right here. Look at this face.
I know. I was the same way. And you have to be that way.
Yeah.
You can't be shy.
So then how did that process work out? Because Lauren and I both left the morning show, and then I guess for a little while they were going to have Garrett.
It was going to be me and Garrett.
But then Garrett went to the evening because
Ange left, yeah. And then, so it was just me on a while for morning show.
And that's a long show by yourself.
Oh my gosh, 2 hours of
And you just have to joke with yourself. And you're like, I feel like a moron.
That's the hardest thing. And I was always like, how do these other anchors do it so well, you and Bill and stuff. But then on the days either you're gone or something's going on, and I remember hearing just Bill trying to, or just you trying to
joke to the camera.
It's
yeah, it's oh my, okay, so everyone struggles with it.
Yes. Because our cameras are robots now, so there's not even anyone behind the camera to joke with or smile a little bit at you.
Yeah.
You're just I'm just talking into the void.
It's just me. It's just me here.
Yeah.
Talking into the void.
I hope
Andrea Walker
you at
story.
home are laughing because I'm trying here.
I know. It's tough. It's tough. You need some kind of feedback, and you get nothing when you're by yourself.
It's so hard. And so, it was a dream come true when they gave me Olivia. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, so then you two are friends anyway. They slide her in next to you.
And it works. And there's talk. There's somebody here to help me when I'm struggling.
I always thought you and Garrett, though, were such an interesting combo.
Because we don't know each other.
The juxtaposition was just hilarious to me.
When we did a little audition together, that was the first time we'd ever talked ever.
I love it. I love it.
And it's just so you ready to do this practice anchor thing real quick? How are you? Are you married? I didn't know that. Oh, you have a dog? I don't know that.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
I remember that.
Learn a lot about people.
Pause.
Oh.
Hello.
All right, so we're back after the second phone call.
Yes.
Still working on that. We're doing this while we all work. No rest for the wicked.
No.
So at this point now, it's you and Olivia on the desk in the mornings. You all enjoying that?
Yeah. Sorry. Look.
Well, no, the waking up that early is always rough.
Yeah,
That's part
waking
of
up
it.
that early, but then also, working weekends is not something that I would ever want anyone to do. It's just, you did it for a long time, so you get it.
Oh, I know, and that's what I always said. That the only thing I hated about the weekend shift was that it was on the weekend. The actual the work I did, I enjoyed. I had time to myself to work on my I could do stuff.
Chill.
Yeah, it's very chill. I loved it, but it was always my Saturday and Sundays. Done.
That's when people do things and schedule things.
Yeah,
so it's difficult.
I can't tell you how many friends I've had some pretty big fights with because they want me to come do this or go do this at this place and
using vacation days to go to weddings and stuff.
Yeah, and I just can't do that.
Even getting Krista to go out to eat for lunch on a work day, she's like, no, not
You're just
doing
dead.
it.
You're just tired. By the time you get home, all you want to do is sit there. And
I feel that I feel I'm just such a people pleaser. I'm like, okay, I just won't sleep tonight.
No, I don't care.
But I know
care.
I need more of that.
You're
in
fine.
Me. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Krista does not suffer fools. Her and Kristen are similar like that. When you're talking to them, you know how they feel. If I walk up to Krista's desk and she'll just look at me and be like, okay, never mind. I'll just go back to my desk.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'll keep this conversation short.
I love it.
I'll be pretty honest.
Which is good.
Although I feel like I'm at least a little bit self-aware. There are definitely people also go up, talk to her, and I can look at her and I can tell oh, she's checked out of this conversation, and they're just still going, and it's like,
Well,
all right.
we all know I had to be moved in class. I couldn't sit next to Miranda anymore in the newsroom. So they moved me. Krista was across from me and Kristen was next to me. And I was like, this feels strategic.
I guess I never thought of it.
I know. I was like, they won't talk to me.
They'll just shut her down when she starts.
They did.
See, I'm thinking like, oh, we're gonna talk all the time, and it's like, I guess every once in a while we did, but yeah, really for the most part, like.
Well, you guys just get in the zone, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm easily distracted, so it was good for me, honestly. So that's good. That's good.
Well, Kristen is also like wildly intimidating, so it's like
Same.
hard to
That's
like.
what everybody
that way,
says.
too.
And,
It's like she's really small, really mighty, really scary. Like,
Yes.
don't let it fool you.
really mighty, really scary.
Really mighty. Don't let it fool you.
So, did you have anybody that you looked up to growing up? Like whose job did you want
No,
when you got into this business? Nobody?
I can't think of it. I mean, I watched like news in Dayton, where I'm from, and the woman who like I watched growing up, she's still there, which I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you plan to go back there someday? Is that
No.
kind of the okay? That's because a lot of people. That's one of the
She
things.
said gross.
Well, you said Lexington's a lot nicer, and a lot of people they tend to go back to whatever the closest
Home
city
or
is
close
next
to
where
home.
they're like the biggest city next to where they're, which is one of the reasons we're I don't know sitting
We're
here looking at each other
lifers.
like
Yeah.
we'll
pretty
see.
much.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like Andrea and I have no incentive to go anywhere. So
Not really. No.
We like the people. We like the place.
Yeah, I guess I'm coasting for right now. Like I'm still in contract, so it's
Well, that's
I'm
the thing.
not
I mean,
looking.
realistically, you've only been doing it a few years. You're still very
Mm-hmm.
young in the business. You're anchoring. You're able to build a good tape.
Yeah, however, like, I'll be honest, I don't think I'll stick with this after this job. I'm tired of having those fights with my friends and stuff about, like, and I'm tired of
The
working
weekend shift, you mean? Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
just
it's
like
hard.
my last 2 years at Hazard, the full time I was there, I worked every single weekend, and I worked from noon until midnight, Saturday and Sunday, for 2 years. And that's on top of being super far away, so it's just like here, like it sucks working weekends, but like I also work weekend mornings. So if I can get out of here by like 1 in the afternoon, I can still go do things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm closer to like any friends who live in Cincinnati or something I could go, but like still I don't want to do that kind of stuff forever. It gets exhausting.
There's not
eventually.
a whole lot of good, because people talk to me about how do you work that shift. It's, it's tough. It's not a normal life. And it's almost as bad as working weekends in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everybody has their struggle because evenings are tough. I remember working evenings and I just slept all day, all my free time away.
Nothing makes me more mad than second shift.
It's
bad.
tough. It is
Because
tough.
you do
You
sleep
get home at
until, like-
12:30. You'll sleep till 9.
Yeah,
You're hanging around until like 10:30 or 11. Suddenly it's like, oh, I gotta start getting ready for work. And you just
Right.
lost the day.
Right?
One of my friends works that shift, and I never get to like talk to them or see them or anything because they sleep until like 2, go into work at like 3.
Right.
And
That was
then,
me.
Yeah, it's just like super difficult, and then I'm like asleep by like 8.
I know.
in the evening. So
I feel ya.
But if I like. I'm looking at like Cincinnati, but Columbus would probably be my number one pick for like where I go after this, what I do. I don't know exactly what that would be, if it would be in news or not. I do know that DSW, the shoe brand, is headquartered there.
Oh.
Nice.
So discounted shoes, I think so.
I love designer shoe warehouse.
Yeah,
We had to do like fake commercials in school, and ours was DSW.
Really?
Yes, because my partner, she worked there, so they let her just take a bunch of shoes, and we just would like wear them. And we were in an elevator, and like we did that thing where you like just changed it, where just the shoes were changing and not our feet. It looked really cool.
We did fake
It was really
commercials.
fun.
I literally don't think I can talk about my fake commercial on this podcast, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
now I have
rude.
to know.
Well, it was a company. Did you ever see the Saturday Night Live skit about the people like their last name was Schweddy and they made hot dogs? Let's put it that way.
Oh
Well,
gosh.
I took that, except I had them making like bourbon balls.
Of course you
and,
did.
balls
Wow,
and
Victor.
stuff.
What is
Wow.
wrong?
You know what? I got an A on that project. It sounded great,
All right.
and everybody laughed at it.
No, that's
So,
very you. That's very on brand.
There we go.
I'm not
I love it.
surprised.
But you and I are kind of like, because when I first started, and I know this isn't probably like the highest form of media, but I always loved like extra Entertainment Tonight. Like I wanted to do, kind of like more of just the low key, like fun stories. You know what I mean? Like that's where I thrive. Like I like entertainment. I like, I like covering sports in a way. Like just maybe news is depressing sometimes.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you get to do the Derby?
Yes, I did last
Okay.
year. That was fun. It was rainy, and I guess it was cool to be able to cover it and have fun with it. But at the same time, it's raining, and everyone around you is not in their right mind. Meanwhile, you're working,
It's a
so
long
it's
day.
like, well, this is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you asked me earlier actually if there's anyone that I like look to as far as like a job or anything. I didn't even think about like I used to watch E! News all the time, and like I don't have cable now because who has cable?
I don't either.
Yeah. But if I did, E-News all the time. And so, like, Juliana... What,
Rancic?
Okay, it was Depandy before, and she got married.
Oh, I know.
I was like her number one fan. But then now there's a girl who's on E! News. Her name is Zuri Hall.
Okay.
She actually also is like the MC or host for Ninja Warrior, I think. that show.
I love it.
She's from Toledo, and then she worked in Dayton, and I was like an intern when she was working at the same station. And so I've always been like, you can do it. Like, now she's on like Access Hollywood and stuff, and it's like making moves, and I'm like,
I know.
it's possible, but like, is it?
I know. It's tough, but it's like you almost have to have blind confidence. Like how you went to Robert Moore, you were like, I want this job. I feel like you have to be that way, but then it's scarier on that scale.
Right.
You know?
You put yourself out there, and then if somebody says no, it's like, oh, well, thanks for rejecting me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Oh, yeah. It is easy to take it personally.
Yeah. And you have to move so far and just work.
That has to be your life.
Yeah. And
if something doesn't work out, you've made this giant switch. And so, which is one of the reasons it's so easy to get complacent, because you're like, oh, well, I'm happy here, and things are going well.
Yeah.
Why would I uproot everything and do?
But I think hosting would be so much fun.
oh my gosh, yes. I've always been like, if I could have my own like lifestyle show and just like host. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather host than anchor. I enjoy anchoring and I like it, but like hosting would be
Right.
I feel like I would just be so excited every day.
See,
You know, I wouldn't have to talk about death.
No,
I have to talk about car wrecks.
cool things that are happening in the community and just like fun, like
lifestyle stuff. I'm with you. I agree with you on that.
You are excited every day.
But those
Andrea.
jobs are few and far between.
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up our time here with Krista. We've kept her busy while she's still working on trying to set up a story. So we appreciate her taking the time to get to talk to us.
It's only like what, a year or something in the making.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We did it.
Long. Because as we said, Krista doesn't mess around. She's like, no, not today.
There have been multiple mornings where we've been like, hey, do you want to stick around for a podcast? No, I'm done.
Yeah,
okay.
that's true. I love it.
See you later.
Okay, bye.
Which is why we're now that you're working dayside some, it's like, oh, we can finally get her into it. It was almost like a trick question. It's like, oh, are you working mornings? No, I'm working dayside. Good.
Yeah, finally. We got there. It's cool.
Well, we'd love to have you back if we can ever get you in again. You know, if you ever have a story that you really are passionate about and you want to talk about, like, just let us know. And yeah, we love having you and chatting with you.
And if somebody wants to follow you online to see all your adventures or to, connect with you on Twitter, what's the best way to do that?
I don't know. I don't use Twitter. I hate it. I love it. Probably Krista Frost, WKYT.
Krista!
I'm
not good either. I'm not good on Twitter.
You literally don't know.
Thank you.
Okay.
But she has a
Type in
Facebook.
Krista Frost. You'll find me, okay?
Yes,
Look for the curly hair. You can't miss it.
All right, there we go. Thanks,
Yeah.
Krista. Andrea, you still intimidated?
I mean, yeah. She's so good. Like I say, she's just such a natural, and I enjoy watching her. So it's great to work alongside somebody like that, and in a way, it almost makes me better because I'm like, oh, she gonna show me up.
It's like in the 90s whenever WWE wasn't very good, and then WCW came along, and suddenly they were beating the WWE in ratings. The WWE had to get better.
That's right.
That started the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin,
That's right,
The Rock,
baby.
just some of the classics, just because somebody was there keeping them on their toes.
Well,
So
it's
maybe
true.
that's-
It's so true. I remember, I worked in Bowling Green, and we're the only game in town. WBKO was,
Yeah.
and I always said I think we would benefit from competition, because you can get complacent if you don't have any. So it's always good to be surrounded by other people who are hungry and good. And
I'm
you're
glad
just
she
like,
keeps
"Oh."
you on your toes.
Yeah, but she's so good, and I wish for her success because I think she deserves it and is a very hard worker. And I remember when she, that morning show slot came open on the weekends, I was like, it's got to go to Krista. Like,
I remember when she was at YMT, and I would see, sometimes they'd send stories up, and I'd watch her stuff, and I go, why don't we hire her? 'Cause,
Oh, I know.
it's
Yeah.
we'd have openings, and I was glad when we finally did.
yeah, but Krista's just cool. She's
There you
fun
go.
to be around.
Alrighty. Well, Andrea, do you have a favorite thing this week?
Well, I guess kind of. So I finally started catching up on the Marvel universe.
Oh, yes. Did you? Okay. So first off, we'll start off. You and I, we judged a chili cook-off on
Yes.
Sunday, Super Bowl. On Super Bowl Sunday, you and I judged that. It was really interesting because I went through first. I tasted a bunch of all the chilies. What, there 14 different chilies?
Yes.
And I had written some pretty detailed notes on them. Except for one of them, I just wrote nope. Because I
Yep.
really did not like the taste of it. And then you tasted some, and we started comparing. You're like, oh, this one's my favorite, or one of my favorites. And then that was the same one I said nope to. And
I know.
realized,
I was just like, well,
we have very
okay.
different
But that's,
palates.
It's very subjective.
Yes.
Because-
Which is why once we both picked one that we both really liked.
We're like, this has got to win.
Yeah.
We found something to agree on. But I remember my brother tried the one that we picked as our winner, and he was like, ooh, too sweet.
That's what Mandy said. She's like, oh, this is way too
And they
sweet.
judged the desserts. I'm like, you think that's too sweet?
But
I
that
don't
makes
know.
sense then, I guess, that if they...
They were probably overrun on sugar at that point. They've had too much. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. You call my brother Noah.
I did. His
name is Matt.
That's the thing. You've said Matt all the time. Like I was listening to old podcasts and you say Matt, and
Well,
but for
yeah,
some
that's his
reason I was
name.
just absolutely convinced. I was like, "Hey, Noah Walker,"
And he said it with such confidence, too.
So Matt, I'm sorry, I let you down.
I loved it. It was funny. You just felt so bad, and I've been there so many times.
Well, it wasn't even like I
He didn't
kind of
care.
like,
It's
hey,
okay.
hey, you or anything. I was really loud, really
proud.
Just because I was so proud of myself that I remembered his name. I was like, well, this is going to be nice of me. But no, I
I'll be
had
honest,
not.
I don't know your brother's name.
That's fine.
I know you have one.
Good. Well, see, there you go. That's good.
You know what I mean? But I don't know his name. I don't know that we've ever even
It also
met.
starts with a V, so that makes it.
Vincent?
There you go.
Well,
I mean, how many of them?
I know
how many
there's not
names
a
are
whole
there?
lot of options. Vin Diesel, Puente.
So yeah, we had some really good chili, some really good dessert. Mm-hmm. Went to a coma.
Oh, yeah, and we picked a female
Mm-hmm.
who made the chili, and a female has never
At that
won the
church,
chili
yes.
cook-off at this church, so we shattered the glass ceiling.
We were breaking boundaries.
Basically, I mean, yeah.
So while we were there, you told me that you had watched several Marvel films.
Yes, and I'm in love with Captain America, which I did not think would happen. Because normally I'm like, he's too good. You know how sometimes like people that are too good are kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't, and you hate yourself for being so terrible of a person that someone too good annoys you.
But he's so pure and so honest,
He's
and it's
so
earnest.
pure.
That's the thing why it's not. Yeah.
And he's attractive.
So have you watched? Have you
That
watched?
probably helps.
So at that point, you had watched.
So I watched the
Civil
very
War.
first one,
Oh yeah, the first Captain America, and then you said
which
you
is
also
called
watched
what? Captain America.
Captain America: The First Avenger.
The first Avenger. Yes, I
You
watched
skipped
half of that because
Oh, yeah.
my boyfriend got half through and he's like, "We're gonna
You're
move on
good.
to Civil War. I'm just gonna tell you what happens."
So you skipped the Winter Soldier.
Skipped Winter Soldier, but you had already spoiled it for me,
But you
so
should
I
go
knew
back
what
and
was
watch
gonna
it
happen.
because I
I'm
still
going
think
to.
it's the best. Maybe still the best. So you watched Civil War. You
Mm-hmm.
said Spider-Man. You really enjoyed him.
Oh, he's so precious. He's so precious. And I didn't think I was going to like him. I don't know how Tom Holland pulls it off because he should be annoying in that role. You know what I mean?
Very likable.
He's so likable. And I remember telling Corey, because I know some of the behind the scenes stuff, like where I guess I didn't follow it, but I was like, he kept spoiling all the things during their press tour, and like they had to put somebody with him because he couldn't stop
Like Mark
spoiling
Ruffalo's
it.
job was just to be like, dude, stop.
Yeah. His keeper.
and then you watched Infinity War.
Yes, which I accidentally called Endgame to my brother, and then he spoiled a part
Yeah.
of Endgame, and I was very upset, but it was my own fault. But I'm just getting into this. I'm still very new.
So
I
you
haven't
still
got it
haven't
all
watched
straight.
Endgame.
I started Endgame
Okay.
last night, but
About how far in did you get?
maybe 45 minutes. Yeah, so I've still
But
got...
were you as shocked as I was whenever it said 5 years had passed?
Yeah, and Thor was...
Big,
Out of shape?
husky.
He reminded me... I don't know if I can even say this, but fat bastard.
Oh, from Austin
From Austin
Powers.
Powers.
Yeah.
He looked like him. Maybe like a slightly slimmer version, but I was just like, oh my God.
What's the
what?
prosthetics? Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it.
All right. Well, you let me know when you finish that. I'm excited to hear your final thoughts.
Yes,
So that's
I am
nice.
too. I'm nervous.
Hmm.
Oh, I bawled. I cried the hardest though when Captain America's first love, he got that text that she had passed away, and
Yeah.
I bawled. Didn't even finish that movie to see their love story grow. You know what I mean? Like how? But I just remember, like I was like, she loved him when he was puny. And I just bawled. It was so sweet.
Well, I'm excited to see what you think of the
I'm sure I'll
rest of the
cry
movie,
again.
so.
Did you cry in Endgame?
Yes, I cried.
You cried in Civil War too?
No. I just loved Civil War. I love the ending. I love the villain.
Oh yeah, that was good.
But no, I didn't cry
What about
in Civil
Infinity War? You did.
Infinity War? No, I don't think I cried at that either.
I did.
Actually, I take it back. I did whenever
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I
whenever
cried.
because like the relationship between him and Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're sweet.
Yeah, they're sweet.
But yeah, so I guess like Marvel.
The discovery of
is
the Marvel
my
universe
favorite.
is your favorite thing.
I'm always so late to the party. Like The Sopranos 20 years later, I'm like, what a great show.
Have you all heard of this? Also, I started watching Seinfeld. It's really funny. So speaking of Chris Evans, this is not my favorite thing, but Mandy and I watched Knives Out.
Oh, so good.
And it is, I think, just a perfect movie. It is.
I love it too.
It's not going to win any Oscars because it's too funny and too good. I feel
It's too good.
I mean, really, like a lot of Oscar movies, you're just like, if it's not a chore to sit through, I don't know. I get aggravated with the Academy.
It is frustrating. It's like
Also, reading stories about some of the people who make up the Academy, they don't even watch all the movies. Some of them, they're just like, it's got subtitles. I'm not going to worry about it. It's like, come on, there's so many.
Terrible.
I still haven't seen Parasite, but I've heard amazing things about it.
I want to see it. I really want to see it. I saw a clip of it, and I was hooked immediately.
So that's on my to-do list. But my favorite thing this week is a British show that I've just started watching clips of, and they've got some of the whole shows on YouTube. It's called Taskmaster. It's these two hosts, and then it's these like 5 British comedians.
Okay.
And they don't know, and they'll one at a time give these comedians a task, and they have to accomplish it. And it'll be something really dumb, like
ridiculous.
Pop this watermelon using rubber bands, or just different things like that. Or it'll be the one of them. There's a putting green, but it's got red around it, and they're giving it to a potato, and it's like, get this potato in the hole, in the hole without touching the red green, like the big red circle around it. And so these people, like everybody's just like, they try to just throw it, and it lands on the green, and they realize like, oh well, now I've got to get this back because I didn't make it the first time. So one of them goes and grabs like a rake and something else and tapes them together so he can start pulling the potato back, start trying to throw it. One of the girls,
ridiculous.
She ties a string around the potato so she can throw it and then try to pull it into the hole. And while she's doing that, at one point, because she's near
lasso, she tried to lasso.
Yeah, well, no, she ties up the potato, but then at the same time, she takes it's like a crutch, and she's moving the green because the green is just laid down there. So she's folding it over so that she can get to the potato, and then she pulls it back and starts over again. And so even while they're watching it, they're like, you didn't think that once you move the green, you realized, oh, hey, I could just push this all the way up and then just walk over and push it down. She's like, oh, no, I didn't, I wanted to play the game fair. And it's like, well, no, the point was to just get it in there. And so it's watching all these people try to accomplish different things.
You know what that reminds me of? Captain America and the flag. Because they were like, nobody's gotten this flag in 17 years. And he literally just like takes the little hook at the bottom out and it falls to the ground. It's like, oh, duh. So there
you go. See, and that's it.
Have to keep running.
It's just another way of thinking. And there was one guy who
sometimes.
walks up and literally just chucks it and gets it on the first throw. But then when they rewatch the video, they realize the tip of his shoe touched the green, and he didn't realize it. They're like, oh no.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's called Taskmaster. I think you can find it a couple different places, but there are a lot of really fun clips on YouTube.
That sounds like a rabbit hole I would go down.
It is. I mean, you're just watching
return.
these people, and they're all generally funny, and so yeah, that's my favorite thing this week.
That's good. I like it. All right. Well, good show.
There we go, everybody.
Good game, Victor. Good game.
Everybody have a good week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Ooh.